What's up, everybody? It's Joseph R. Wheeler III, artist, founder, president of the ONYXCON Foundation. Welcome back to another ONYXCON special film review. But before we get into that, I want y'all to make sure y'all know about Cyberpunk ATL. This is a fan fiction piece based on Michael Pondsmith's world of cyberpunk. Cyberpunk 2077 is right here. It's right now. Make sure y'all peep that. But you know, we was vibing, y'all. We got that pre-screening here in ATL. Shout out to Allied Moxie, man. The Allied Moxie ATL team always puts us on, and we were in the house. We were vibing. It was a good night. Gotta shout them out because I really love when they give us the tickets early and we get to see these things. We was vibing, y'all. The DJ was pumping. Shout out to Head Crack. I think I know that guy. Yeah, that's the homie, legendary Mr. Diallo Riddle was in the house. That's my homeboy. Got him to come through and check it out with me, man. Shout out to you, my brother. But yo, when I tell y'all it was a vibe, y'all, it was a vibe. They already got toys out and everything. And it was important that I show y'all this because I got to make a point about that later. But Predator Badlands. Let's get into it, man. I ain't gonna waste no time, and there won't be any, well, I might hint at some spoilers, but I ain't gonna spoil it, okay? All right, so bottom line is this, okay? I'm gonna give y'all my point scale review of it early. I'm gonna go ahead and just let you know what my review point is for it, okay? I give it a 3.5. Now, I'm gonna break it down as to why. Now, this is the ONYXCON scale. We do it 7 stars for every letter in ONYXCON. I'm giving it 3.5. The reasons. Let me start with the good, all right? We'll get into everything else. First and foremost, this is an action-packed, Yautja-based, and if you didn't know, Yautja is the official name of the Predator aliens as a group, as a ethnicity, okay? Yeah. Because I think amongst them, they would have their own constructs, because that's what race is, of a race, okay? Because they got different groups and everything. But they are the Yautja, they call them. This is some made-up stuff based on actual language, and we're going to get into all that. I'm going to break that down for y'all. But basically, they have a plot where the main character, Deck, is a young predator who is needing to prove himself to his particular clan, all right? He has the demanding, overbearing dad that literally thinks he's weak and he's not worthy, and he has to show daddy that, no, I'm the baddest mofo in the damn tribe, you understand? So he gets cast away to this planet where everything is out to kill you. I mean, everything. I mean, the flora, the fauna, period. Hell, I think the rocks here might come alive and eat your ass. It's that kind of planet. It's serious business, right? And he has to face this monster of monsters, this legendary beast that every Yautja even fears. It's like nobody's ever killed one of these things. And if he can do that and bring back the head of that, then you are now a man and you are part of this clan and all that type of it's that type of thing, right? And so you got that energy, and they do that very well. I want to say that is the highlight of the film. All of that bravado, machismo, badassiness. Yes, I'm making up words. Badassiness is all over this damn thing, all right? It's full throttle. And yes, the guy who did Prey is the same guy who did this. So if you loved Prey on Hulu, then you're going to absolutely love it. I loved Prey. I thought Prey was pretty damn good. I always have my issues with everything when it comes to these Predator films. And I'm gonna, like I said, we're going to break that down later. But for now, we're going to have our fun. We're just going to talk about the fun. We're going to talk about what we love. We ain't going to get into all the deep theoretical. But I don't let y'all slide. You know that, right? You know at ONYXCON, we're going to get edutainment. We're going to get you education and entertainment. So here, enjoy your entertainment while I talk about it. You will be entertained by the action. You will be entertained by the crazy, every turn, every moment, another thing he got to fight, he got to face, he got to prove that he got that sword, that skill with the bow, that skill with, I mean, he got a lot of weapons, by the way. There's some new shit up in here that I was like, whoa, wait a minute, what was that? What was that? Like, most of them are like, reinventions of already established Predator weapons. But there's some really fly stuff, and some really dope stunt work. I always shout out my stunt people because I know a lot of people in the biz. Y'all know I'm an actor, I'm a writer, I'm a producer, I'm in the film biz. I always have to mention that because when I do my reviews, it's not just from the perspective of a fan. I'm on sets. I've been on sets. I know what it is to be a part of huge Hollywood productions from Marvel to others, all right? So credit to all the actors. I want to make that clear. Even when I started criticizing things I didn't like about certain characters, I want to make it clear. Everybody did a great job. I'm not the person over here dissing my fellow actors on just being great thespians, okay? Everybody did an excellent job. My issues lie with certain decisions in terms of how we have to endure stuff that, in my opinion, was just unnecessary for what this could have been completely instead of partially. The reason why I gave it that 3.5 is because it's like I enjoyed mostly 3/4 of the film. That other fourth that's missing is because you started off literally, and I'm not giving away. I'm seriously, this is all already been said by other reviews and other things out. You literally made so much about the Yautja themselves that it was a fantasy come true of finally something where that's the focus instead of a human being chased and having to prove that they're just as bad as the Predator and take out the Predator at the end like all the other Predator films that were ever made, right? Or humans caught between a battle between xenomorphs and Yautja. No, this ain't that. This is Yautja Prime. You feel me? The Yautja are the reason for the season. You literally get this incredible feeling of, damn, this is actually it. This is really going to be all about the alien planet. This is really going to be all about the aliens and how they move and what they do. Until you realize, no, you still got to share the stage with this chatterbox droid lady. Okay, and I'm not giving away nothing. This is all in trailers and everything. You see the little half woman. They put that image out. It's already been out. That you got the alien who was damaged. The droid that was damaged. That still represents the humanness in a way because she's AI developed. She's made by humans. She tries to act human. She can speak multiple languages. So even though they introduced you to the Yautja language in this thing, which by the way is pulled from Polynesian and other cultures, okay, especially Hawaiian. I found that out and I wasn't surprised. Okay, so they do this thing where you gotta tolerate this annoying little chatterbox woman who won't shut the fuck up. I swear to gosh, sorry y'all, I gotta cuss a little bit in here, because that's the other thing. I'm cussing too because it's like this should have been an R-rated movie. It should have been R-rated, and I was sitting there through it thinking. At one point, I said, "Man, it was started off like R. What is this rated?" and I remember checking with my homeboy while we watching it, and my homie Diallo, he looked it up real quick. He's like, "Oh, it's PG-13." We both laughed. I said, "Oh, the new G," and we just had to hold down our laughs not to be disturbing in the theater. But I'm thinking to myself, man, this is where we at now, right? This is where we at. Like PG-13 may as well be G. In this new reality we dealing with, where what used to be violence that was not was inappropriate for young audiences, now I guess folks would bring a 10-year-old and have them constantly saying, "Daddy, why is it doing that?" and "Mommy, why is that?" Oh gosh, this ain't for kids, man. Or it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, in my opinion. And that's the problem I see with this. The other problem, in addition to the chatterbox overdoing of comic relief, lady character, right? The other most annoying thing in this is there's this, I'll just call it a creature sidekick. I'm not going to give away nothing. I'm just going to say there's a creature sidekick that is so goddamn hokey. I mean, it annoyed the shit out of me. It was almost like it's the kind of effect of trying to make Gollum cute in The Lord of the Rings. There's nothing cute about that big-eyed, nasty, crackhead looking thing, it's like, but you're trying to make it seem, you just keep pushing the big eyes on us. You keep pushing the goofy faces that remind us of what kids do, and we all love kids because you should if you're normal. You gotta appreciate the children. So, but you're bringing children to something that don't need to be a part of. This ain't got nothing to do with no kiddies. This is hardcore grown folk business. And that's where they messed it up. That's where they lost that other 0.5 that could have made it a solid 4 stars on the ONYXCON scale. But it is what it is. It is what it is. And like I say, I'm not completely disappointed. I would still go see this movie. Yeah, never mind. I was going to say in IMAX, that's a little too much. Goddamn, it's too much money these days. So I'm glad I got to see it, without it costing me, because I could, I'm so glad about that. But I'm going to tell you, it's still worth seeing. I'm not dissing it for that. Now, another thing I had a problem with, you see my man's haircut? if you want to call it that. Now, all the previous Predators had that, well, not all, but a lot of them had that V-shaped pattern on their upper head area, which I call like the turtle shell formation of their creation from the concept artist creations, which I've always liked the concept art of the Predator concept. I always had an appreciation for it since the first film. But I do not like this damn V widow's peak of the beginning of spines that will become the tentacle-like, I won't call them dreadlocks, but in this case, I guess I could, because I'm gonna make a point about that later. But I didn't like that. I didn't like that whole, I know what they were doing. I know the hairstyle they were basing that on, and the fact he could tie it up in the back and all that. I knew exactly what this was. It was like making him look a little bit more relatable to a human head and shape. When it's a humanoid creature that is completely alien to us and should remain so, in my opinion. Or it ain't completely, because that's all, again, I got a lot to say. So I guess this is the point where I got to get into the show enough woke part of the presentation. And if you one of those people who tried to recreate the word woke, this ain't for you. You would want to cut off right about now. If you're a racist prick who agrees with, MAGA-isms, you're one of them types and everything, you're not going to like what I got to say for the rest of this, all right? But if you are woke and you do appreciate being aware, which is what woke truly means, then the rest of this is for you, and you're going to learn a lot. All right, let's break it down. Let's get intellectual about it. So let's take it back to the beginning. The Predator creature was created by Stan Winston's studio as far as what you saw in the films, with inspiration coming from a painting of a Rastafarian warrior and a suggestion for mandibles from James Cameron. The same James Cameron, yes, who did Avatar. The same Cameron who actually said this. This is an actual quote from this man. Take your time. Slow it down. Read that. Especially read this last part. Oh boy. So, if that's the group that creates a creature and makes a character, and then pulls from the very people it insults to create these characters, where are we going? First, have to accept that creators like William Stout, who drew the initial concept art, obviously had some issues. And let me say this, by the way. I met William Stout at Comic-Con one time, shook his hand. Now, this was before I found out some other things about Stout. And I was happy to meet him because I had always admired his work, and I loved his book Dinosaurs, which I had always regretted I didn't have on me when I met him, so he could have signed it for what that would be worth or whatever. But I just, I didn't know what I found out later. Another friend of mine was at DragonCon one year hosting a panel with Stout on it. And this friend of mine is black, and he had long locks at the time. And somebody had asked the question of, well, how'd you come up with a creature with these locks and everything? And he said, well, I don't know about you, but I think it's pretty scary, a big black guy with dreadlocks. Now that's a quote, or at least a loose quote from what I heard from a friend that I definitely trust as a source. Not to mention it was said in front of an audience. So if you were alive and well and at that particular DragonCon, you know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. It happened. And of course, there were people in the audience like, oh, and it was just yet another example of the kind of silliness that we, as fans, I don't care if you're black or not, have to tolerate. If you're woke, if you're aware, if you care about other human beings and you're part of the human family, not these constructs, you're not living by these constructs. You accept them, you acknowledge we're all dealing with this shit, we're in the matrix, and you really do respect other people's cultures, identities, and everything. So as a creative, when you are creating a character, you understand you have a responsibility that if you're gonna pull from someone's hair textures, hair shapes, cultural nuances, beadery, adornment, clothing, weaponry, do I need to keep going? Yeah, I do. They do it over and over and over and over with this whole notion that no one sees what you're doing. We know where you got it from. We know where you're going to keep getting it from. And the sickest part is you stay at the top of the pile economically, resource-wise, and gatekeeping everything to the point where whether your movies do well or not at the box office, they're going to make money, they're going to be celebrated, and everything you put out is always good just because you did it. No. And here's me saying this as a fan of the world, because it gets deeper than just what you created. Because here's the other thing they often do. They go to the source to make sure it's right and has a certain look and appeal and energy about it. And then it gets diverse as time goes on. Yes, we had the first Predator played by an African-American man, and there have been plenty others since, including the current Badlands man. That actor is of Tongan and Samoan descent. Yeah, amongst the constructs, what's happening, brother? That's a black man. So the bottom line is this. Yes, there have been plenty of white gentlemen to play a Predator, a Yautja. That, again, is not my ultimate point, but I am going to say from the start of both Predator and Alien, you had black men acquired for the roles. Oh, that's right. Yes, Brother Bolaji, Badejo, we'll never forget you. ONYXCON gonna represent and understand and make sure everybody else understands. There's a seasoning of the pot, my people. There's a roux, if you will, okay, for this gumbo. But the problem with this gumbo is being made with people who oftentimes don't respect gumbo from the beginning. And that's where I get salty about it. Because as a fan, I'm sitting in the theater appreciating all of the talent that went into making something of this level of spectacle. But I'm not asleep. You understand? I am not asleep to the parts of it that are still based in false notions of the noble savage. That's what it all goes back to. No matter what they say and do, and they know it, they just keep playing with it. Like, we're in 2025, people. If you don't evolve now, when? And that's why those of us who are aware stay frustrated. Because the fantasy is not going to ever be universally accepted and appreciated until you respect the source material enough to go to the people and be like, you know what, we were just playing around with y'all shit and we don't know what the fuck we doing. Maybe the next Predator movie could be directed by someone like a Ryan Coogler. I'm not saying he would want to do that or need to do that. I'm saying we need other talent, get a new black director. Get somebody else who's writing. And here's the other thing. And don't do it in spite just to try to let's see if it'll fail. No, give them all the resources they need. Give them the budget they need. And let it be written from the perspective of everything you dabble and tamper with, but never get to the bottom line. See, I grew up with a father who is an actual hunter and taught me the honor of what hunting really is. And I fish to this day, which is aquatic hunting. I know the thrill of the wild. I'm not just some dude with a pen or a keypad who's typing up his fantasies and getting off on some shit he'll never fucking do. I do mine. I'm speaking from the perspective of true warriorship, true hunter, who understands it is discipline, it is respect. And if you really understand the cultures you're fucking with and borrowing from, you don't insult them by pretending that they ever did what some, S-O-M-E, and I mean S-O-M-E, because not all Europeans colonized, but for those who did, you did it worse than anyone else on the fucking planet ever did it. And then you try to make an alien out of everybody you conquered and make them the enemies in your films and shit. And we know what you're doing. We're not sitting there thinking, oh, this ain't got nothing to do with us. When you keep saying dreadlocks and that's the other thing. We don't call real, well, true, knowing history people of any ethnicity who've been researching and know about black cultures, plural. We don't be talking about no dreadlocks. There's nothing dreaded. That's your concept. Now you pushed it on us enough that even Bob Marley himself sang naughty dreadlock. But I know Bob knew what time it was. He just understood the lingo by that time. As I say, things get pushed on us to the point where after a while, we just start saying it. It ain't always for the best, but we will do it because it's a conceptual cultural thing that gets embedded. It's what happens through colonization. You get called something long enough, man, it's like the N-word, which is a whole nother topic, and I'm not a fan. But you get my point. So I'm saying, we're not looking at this thing saying, oh, I see what you're doing here, you know? And personally, as a true fan of sci-fi, I'm sick and tired of it because I have to stomach it every fucking time I try to appreciate something for just what it is, but I know how much else it still is. I know the other side of the coin, and we're not asleep. So it makes it extra goofy when you see all this talent that deserves a chance and is under the mask, like this new brother, this Tongan Samoan brother. And I'm watching this interview, and I'm gonna round it out with this. This here should say it all for how I feel about this. And it's kind of a representation of what I'm getting at. In a recent interview promoting the movie, look at how my brother is trying to say something in the interview and can't even get a word out edgewise because the character in the movie may as well be the real life lady. She's talking all over the man. And then the damn director gets in and then like they're tag teaming. Who is the predator? The man in the middle, the main man. Oh, we just need you to be in the mask. We don't really want you to talk. We don't really want your voice.
Franchises that things are practical, like it was Demetrius, he's there, he's in the suit, it's tangible, like we get to act, you know, not to just like a tennis ball. Like also we shot in New Zealand, so there were sets that were built, but a lot of the times when
just mention New Zealand, aka Aotearoa. He's from there. It's time for you to shut up and let the man speak.
Real, and then we're on wires in those locations, attached to trees, on top of mountains, attached to each other, flying through the air. Demetrius is holding all of my weight, pretty much. It was a lot of harness work, and we fully were attached together. Yeah, with my legs were up in the air and blew tight.
Okay, this is a voiceover reaction. We hear you. Okay, you got your fantasy about being carried through the air by the big black guy. Man, look, lady. And now the other guys, you can see it on his face. My man wants to speak. He can't even get a word in.
We had done literally every different kind of process, from wires to a wheelbarrow that was invented, where he's basically hauling.
I can't make this shit up, y'all. The man's face says it all. He can't get a word in, and he's the star of the fucking movie. This is the literal epitome of the problem. This is it. This is what I'm talking about. Until what's happening in this interview is not represented overall, in not only the industry, but in life, with how people treat each other's participation in a group project.
So we had to time that out so we wouldn't step on each other. I could help you. Well,
and that moment was literally one of the best in the entire film. So symbolic of, we're going to give you this one moment to say what needed to be said.
In terms of like finding the humanity of the character, I didn't think that's the right word. It's more like I was just trying to connect with what a predator has been through and what a predator, you know, his whole kind of like where he's come from. Why is he doing what he's doing? Why does he move like the way he moves? You know, I think in doing so, like us as humans are able to connect to certain elements of that, where he's, you know, runs off the litter, or he's, you know, undersized, you know, against all odds. As humans, we can, you know, connect with those themes. But yeah, like he's an alien, you know what I mean? He'll rip your face off if you step the wrong way.
You're after a creature that can't be killed.
I think what drew me to this.
So at least we got to hear from the main man. Shout out to Demetrius, man. You did an amazing job in the film. Congratulations. Hopefully he'll have a chance to reprise his role and come back in the next one, because they're obviously going to make another movie. As you can see with the rest of this interview, old girl took over and just kept running the ball. Would not share the ball, damn it. And that almost happened in the movie, y'all. That is why I gave it a 3.5. It was a point where she was yapping so much. Her character was talking. So I said to myself, what is this really what I'm going to have to deal with for the rest of this movie? And then it's almost like somebody in the boardroom said, look, hey, reel that back, man. We can't let that take over. We cannot let that take over. And so they did all these other little moments and stuff. But bottom line, people, we see what's going on. We are not participating in your little jokey joke. This ain't your little Rasta fantasy. This ain't your little stupid. Look up the word Rasta and see what pop. This is where I got these dumbass images from, by the way. These costume goofy ass images. It's what came up along with Bob Marley. It's what came up along with actual images of black African descent people in Jamaica and all over the world. And because, Rastafarianism is a religion, spirituality system. So multiple people, it don't matter whether you're black or not, can be a part of it. But yet still, you know who you should see first when you look that up. But you see all this other shit. We know what's up. We know the archetypes. The noble savage is not dying. We love our characters. I love Worf. I love the Klingons. I love these characters. I love the Predator concept, aside from its bullshit. Because Native Americans didn't hunt the buffalo into extinction. They don't hunt just to hunt, just for a prize, got a skull. That's somebody else's shit. And you're putting your problems, your psychological issues, you're putting it on other people because you're just not going to deal with your own house. Go home and get therapy. And get therapy from the people you've abused so that you can realize how you are misusing their concepts and misrepresenting them through these weird-ass culminations. You got to know the real facts about things. But we are not going to not call bullshit when we see bullshit, people. And we're going to make you start recognizing and realizing what else could be of all of this when we all get to run the ball. Otherwise, leave us out of your little play. That's truly how I feel about it. Standing on business. ONYXCON. I am Joseph R. Wheeler III. Hit the comments. Do so respectfully, because you already know. Peace, y'all.